Welcome back to my channel. I am Clarissa and you're currently watching the Violin Basics series, where I get to share some of my knowledge as well as tips and tricks around the fundamentals of violin playing. If your left hand ever feel tired or tight when playing the violin, the chances are you're using way too much pressure. But don't worry, because it is possible to get rid of the tension. In today's video, I will show you how much finger pressure you actually need so that playing violin will feel easier and more relaxed. It is very common for beginners to think that more left-hand finger pressures means better sound quality. Logically, it makes sense. But on the violin playing, you only need to press down your finger into the string with just enough pressure until the string sounds clearly. In fact, pressing harder than that does not improve the sound at all. It only creates tension and makes playing violin even harder. Good violin playing should feel supported, comfortable, and relaxed, not painful. So let me give you two different examples. And I want you to listen really carefully to the sound quality. Did you notice any difference between the two examples that I just played for you? In the first example, I was putting way too much pressure into the strings, while the second example, I was just putting enough pressure. But both of those examples have good sound quality. So now I'm going to play again the first example for you. This is the example where I use way too much finger pressure, and this is how it looks like. You might not be able to see it clearly what's going on with my left hand, but I am going to show you how hard my finger is pressing into the string, because if I try to let my right hand take off a finger from the string, it will be really hard. And I'm really pulling it all right here. I really use my muscles there to take off my left hand fingers from the strings. Even though I produce good sound with that amount of pressure, the goal is to produce good sound but with the least amount of effort. Because playing violin is already hard enough, why do we want to put unnecessary tension and make it even harder? Beyond that just enough pressure, all we're doing is squeezing. Like what I'm doing right now is squeezing my left hand and my thumb into the violin's neck. It creates tension in the finger, my hand, and it's gonna go down towards my arm as well. And if you continue with this habit, you might be able to start feeling it on your nerve. So now I'm going to play the second example, which is using just enough pressure. Now I'm going to put that just enough pressure into the string and let my right hand take my left hand finger off of the string. I am not helping right here. My left hand is not helping at all to lift the finger. At first, it might feel really weird to use that just enough pressure into the string. You might not feel it that I'm not pressing anything down, but that's why I'm going to break it down into steps so you can practice it and your body can learn how to play with just enough pressure. I want to remind you that our left hand is not responsible to hold the violin. It's not their job. Our left hand is simply responsible to placing the finger correctly into the fingerboard while staying relaxed. If you do not feel comfortable holding your violin with only your jaw, chin, and shoulder, you should watch my videos called Violin Posture 101 under the Violin Basics series, and I will put the link down in the description box. So now let's jump right to finger pressure levels. There are 5 levels that I'm going to introduce to you. Level number 1, which is no pressure at all, and level 5, which is way too much pressure. So now let's find it which finger pressure levels is the right amount of pressure to play the violin effortlessly. Now, finger level number 1. Let's try it. No weight at all. Just touch the string. Let's use our second finger on A string. Just touch it, relax thumb, relax hand, and touch the string. Warning, it will sound very unpleasant for you, but bear with me. At this point, the sound is not clear yet. We call this the harmonic level because when you play the harmonic notes on string instruments, you do not need to put any pressure into the string. You just simply touch it. Let me play some nice harmonics for you. See, not all harmonics sounds awful. So now I want you to try with your first finger, second finger, and third finger. Let's exclude our fourth finger for now with this finger pressure level 1. That one will sound unpleasant. The first finger. Now try second finger without the first finger. And then the third finger without second and first finger. This one should sound kind of nice. And notice, how do you feel? Only touching the string, not putting any pressure or weight at all. So now let's move on to finger pressure level 2, which I call it the foo-foo finger because it will sound like a sick person, in my opinion. So just add natural weight into your finger, or I like to call it rest your finger a little more into the string. Let's try with the same finger, second finger, and let's play it on A string. You might start to hear some pitch, but the sound is still not clear. It's in the between of like harmonics and almost there, but not quite yet. And that's okay, because we want to learn how to control our finger with that very subtle difference. So now try with your first finger and third finger as well, so you know the feeling for each finger. That's a little bit more painful to hear actually. So now let's start with level 3. So from what we have in level 2, we want to rest our fingers just a little bit more into the string. But I try to avoid using the word pressure. So let's just rest our finger. And let's start with second finger and play it on A string as well. Right here, this is the moment when the sound becomes clear. Let's do it again, and this time pay closely attention to how your finger and hand feels. finger. And third finger as well. This is the right amount of weight we want to do when we play the violin. You need to remember how your hand feels when you do the level 3. It might feel a little weird because you're not used to playing with such a light fingers, but you're gonna get used to it once you practice this daily. So now, just for experiment, let's do finger pressure level 4, which we already counted as way too much pressure. Let's do it with second finger again. Let's add a little bit more weight than level 3. Did you notice that the sound quality actually does not change between level 3 and level 4? Even though we're pressing way more on level 4, the sound is not better. All that extra pressure does is to create tension on the fingers, on your hand, and even the arm. So for just experiment, let's go to level 5. I call this the danger zone. Can you imagine level 5? Even more pressure than level 4? At this level, you might feel tired, soreness, very, very tight hand, somewhat squeezing, or even pain if you keep building this habit of playing with finger pressure level 5. This is the kind of pressure that we want to avoid at all times because it makes playing way harder than it already is. So, how do we practice this so it becomes a natural part of our playing? So the first step is to repeat this process daily from all finger pressure levels from level 1 to level 4. Let's exclude level 5. And with all 3 fingers. And if you have learned your 4th finger, then add that one as well. This will help your fingers to learn the subtle difference between each level of weight. You do not need to do this for a long time. Even just a few minutes is enough. As long as you're paying closely attention to how your finger feels and how your hand feels. I'm going to give you an example with my first finger in A string. So I'm going to start with finger pressure level 1. I'm staying relaxed, and then now I rest my fingers a little bit more into the string and play level 2. That's good because I could hear some pitch, but it's not clear yet. So now I'm going to rest a little bit more into the string and make sure my thumb is still relaxed. And I wiggle my thumb over there and rest my first finger a little bit more into the string. I find the clear sound. Now level 4, which is add a little bit more pressure. Maybe you already start squeezing with your thumb. But you need to know that's a no-no. This feeling is a no-no. So you will release the finger pressures a little bit and find that level 3 again. And that's the process. You need to do this for every finger. And also start checking it with yourself. How much weight am I putting into the strings right now? To really make sure that you understand how each finger feels, to find that right amount of weight. One easy way to check if you are putting too much and not relaxed is with your thumb. If your thumb is squeezing into the violin's neck, it means you're not relaxed. But if your thumb is relaxed, it is much easier for your fingers to stay relaxed as well. So, there is no quick fix in here, but with regular daily practice, of the finger pressure levels, you will slowly find that playing with just enough pressure becomes natural. And that's when you find playing the violin feels easier, lighter, more comfortable, and the most important thing is, without any pain. So remember, we're not aiming for perfection. We're simply training our brain and fingers to recognize what just enough pressure feels like. This is something that you can always coming back to. Even until this day, I still check my finger pressure levels, especially when I play harder music or sight reading. So there you go. Now we all can be aware of what just enough pressure feels like. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave any comments. If you have any questions, give this video a thumbs up and share it with others as well. And if you're following along with my Violin Basics series, make sure to click subscribe and hit that notification button so you don't miss my next video. And lastly, I really hope to see you in my next video and have the best practice. Bye!